What's going on, guys? In today's episode, I'm going to show you all how to take your Thanksgiving leftovers and turn them into free fertilizer for your garden. Let's go. So Thanksgiving was a few days ago, and for Thanksgiving we had turkey. Now, as a standard protocol, we don't let any part of the animal go to waste. I think that it is a crime to let an animal go to waste just because you want to pick off the choice parts of it. And so whether it's the meat, we eat all different parts of the turkey, but then we also will scrape it and we actually make like turkey salad with all the stuff that's kind of stuck around. And then after that, we boil it to make bone broth. Bone broth is so incredible, high in protein and collagen. It's just so good. We'll sometimes just use it for making soup stock, or we'll sip on it straight for a cold winter's for a cold winter's day. It's a great beverage. I really enjoy it. We made a couple nice containers of bone broth. And then what is left after that? Well, there's really no other way to put it, but it's the remains. It's the turkey carcass. And it was funny. I was talking to the girls at the office and I said, there's really no good way for you to talk about what we're doing in this video, because it's just, no matter what, it sounds weird. It's whether you say turkey bones, turkey skeleton, turkey carcass, it's just that's what it is. And so that is what's left over. Now, this is going to go into the oven, preheated to 350 degrees, and we are going to put it on an aluminum foil lined baking sheet, throw it in the oven for about 30 to 45 minutes. And what comes out of it is going to be what is going to make bone meal. Now, you've probably used bone meal in your garden. People use it in their tomatoes. They'll use it on their root crops like onions and carrots because it has high levels of phosphorus. Now, it also has high levels of calcium and other wonderful minerals, but the main thing that it's known for is having high levels of phosphorus. If you've looked at a fertilizer bag, it has nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Your phosphorus is your middle number. And crazy as it is, that small amount right there can have, by weight, obviously, if you have a pound of overall bone meal, a pound of it, 12% of that pound is just pure phosphorus for your garden. It's absolutely incredible. 1% of that is going to be nitrogen, and then does not have any potassium, so it's not really rich in potassium, but it has a teeny tiny bit of nitrogen and a ton of phosphorus, and that is where bone meal really shines. So we're going to get this thrown into the oven here because we got to get this stuff rocking and rolling. And like I said, it's going to smell familiar, but it's also going to smell kind of foreign because there's really all the other great stuff has either been consumed, boiled off, and it's kind of just whatever's left over. It'll kind of smell a little bit like cooking cardboard in a weird roundabout way. But into the oven it goes for about 30 to 45 minutes. All right, so it's been about 30, 45 minutes or so, and I'm pretty sure it's just about done. Now, obviously, the drier you can get the bones, the better, but at a certain point, it's like, all right, it's going out to the garden. And so there's probably still going to be some moisture in some of the thicker bones. The thinner bones are completely dry. I actually, about 5 minutes ago, did a little break test. And a break test is basically pretty simple. Just take out like a bone, and then just do a break test. Does it break pretty cleanly? Does it break, or does it have some bend to it before it breaks? And you know, what is the moisture content like? Now, obviously there's still some like little bits of skin and whatever kind of still on some of the bones there. So it's not perfect. It's definitely going to be homemade bone meal by all means, but it's done and it's ready to blend. So now we're going to ask the age-old question.
Will it blend? That is the question.
Will it blend? Turkey edition. For those of you that are on OG YouTube, you'll know that reference. So I just got all the bones thrown into the blender here, and we initially had a lot of stuff that we put into the oven. What came out of it was probably about 50 to 75% of what we put in the oven, because I wanted to kind of pick it through. The longer you boil your leftovers, the more the meat and the other stuff will kind of just fall off when you're making your bone broth. We could have probably boiled it for an extra hour or two and really got it nice and clean. So I had to kind of go through, because you really don't want to make bone meal with the other remaining bits of like little fatty bits or skin or any meat left over on the bones, because it ultimately just will make it a much clumpier, messier product. So I try to get a lot of that stuff off. Plus, you're more likely to attract animals, especially dogs. Dogs love bone meal. But now that we got it all nice and clean, it's mostly bones in the blender. And definitely use a spare blender for this. Don't use your nicest blender in the world. Use a spare blender. We got ourselves this Blend Tech, which is nice and hardy. And again, if you remember that reference, you remember the age-old question, will it blend? And so we're gonna see if turkey bones will blend. Spoiler, they do. All right. And as the guy would say, Thanksgiving dust. Don't breathe that.
Don't breathe this.
I loved OG YouTube, I'll tell you what. Before times changed, boy, times were simpler. You didn't have to do anything special to get people to love what you did. Now you gotta have it all. But I'll tell you what, that right there is some really nice quality bone meal. Check it out. All right, and there you go. There's our bone meal. Really, really easy to do. And again, the longer you bake it, the more dried and crumbly it will be. So right now it just looks like a looks like a cheesecake crust. And then as this cools, we can put this out, let it dry even more. But also there's gonna be a lot of fat on this. There's gonna be a lot of fat from all those the turkey kind of rendering down. And so that's what leads to this kind of clumpiness here. That will kind of always be there. It's very difficult to get that out. So what you can do is you can actually take, if you don't like that clumpiness, you can actually take a bit of sawdust. Take a bit of sawdust, take like to this amount here, this is probably like 1.5 cups or so of bone meal. I would take about 1/4 cup of sawdust, add it into here, and that sawdust acts as kind of a anti-clumping agent. It'll also help to absorb that excess oil and grease, and it naturally will just break down and degrade in the soil. It'll just completely break down, but you can absolutely kind of anti-clump your bone meal by adding in to, like I said, 1.5 cups of bone meal. You can add 1/4 cup of sawdust, and it is easy peasy. So there you go. There is the yield from just one turkey. I am really impressed with that. It is surprising at how little you get, but it's also pretty dense. So I'm going to weigh it here in a second to see what we ended up with. But you can do this with literally any bone at all. You can do this with fish bones. You can do this with pork bone or beef bone. You could do chicken, turkey. It doesn't really matter. They all will have a very similar phosphorus makeup. And it's just an awesome way to repurpose all parts of the animal. Now, I do want to say that I understand that there's going to be people that are highly offended by the fact that we're using animal products in our garden, that we even consume meat in the first place. That's fine. I respect your stance. I totally just wish that, I ask that you respect our stance, right? That we do eat turkey. And so I just don't want to waste any part of the animal. At least from that perspective, I hope you can see that. And if you don't use animal products, well, you probably haven't, you probably have never thought about using bone meal in your garden, but I know there's a lot of people that don't even want to use bone meal in your garden. So as long as you just respect the fact that I love just using all parts of the animal to benefit our garden and our family, that's the only thing that I ask, right? So we can all garden in different ways, and there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all solution to gardening. So let's see what this weighs here. And if you do grow veganically, by the way, if you are a vegan, I completely respect that. We actually have a vegan fertilizer called VegaGrow. And VegaGrow is an all mineral-based fertilizer using no animal byproducts. So go check it out over at migardener.com. You might really love it. But if you use Trifecta Plus, there's bone meal in it. And same source. Pretty cool. So All right, let's see what it weighs. 1.1 pounds. Awesome. 1.1 pounds from a single turkey, I think is pretty good. I don't know if it's good, I don't know if it's bad. It was a smaller size turkey, but I'd say it's pretty good. So I am really pleased with that. And yeah, you know, it just kind of goes to show that out of this 1.1 pounds of bone meal, 12% of it is going to be available phosphorus for your plants to go crazy on. But then also it's going to have, like I said, it's going to have a slow release calcium. It's going to have other minerals in it as well. And so super, super excited about this and just the ability to show you all how to make your own bone meal for your garden. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. Let me know in the comments box down below if you will be trying this, if you have tried this in the past. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. So as always, this is Luke from the On My Garden channel, reminding you to grow bigger. See ya. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting onmygardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care. Bye.